All right, now you guys should be good. Can you hear me now? Sorry for the technical difficulties. Can you guys hear me and see the funky screen now? It looks like a 7-dimensional depth. And my screen should say here, stop broadcast, stop sharing. All right, I just want to make sure you guys can hear me before I keep going. So just chat on the box for me right there if you guys can hear me. Sorry about that, guys. You see, I'm texting Jill because she always knows everything. All right, let's see. Jill's gonna share with me here if she can see me. Let's see. Let's try this. All right, there we go. So you guys should be able to see the screen now. Here, can you see my PowerPoint now? Let's see. I'm just gonna give it one more second just to make sure you guys can see me, and then we're gonna get started with the actual how do you set up your database in the VAC. Sorry for the inconvenience now. Oh, that is so weird. I cannot believe you guys cannot see it. Oh, God. It says it's sharing my screen. All right, let's try now. How about now, guys? Let's see, I'm gonna put my present here. Hopefully it's sharing now. All right, thanks, Jill. Thanks for keeping me on my toes. Okay, so we were talking about the actual setting up of the database and why it's so important. And I constantly remind you guys that we have numbers in real estate that you can be watching. Remember, for every 50 people that are brand new to your sphere that you market to once a month via email, you can expect to close 1 transaction. So that means if you wanted to close 12 transactions this year, you would need 600 contacts in the year. You would need 43 per month and 12 per week. When you combine sphere of influence or past clients, co-workers, people that you've met that are kind of sending you the business, then it's only a 12-to-1 ratio. 12 people in the database that you market to once a month would equal 1 transaction. So as you can see in this scenario at the bottom, for an agent that's using both sphere of influence contacts as well as brand new leads that they're going to be generating, they're saying that they have 50 people in their database that consists of past clients, friends, family, now that they're feeding once a month, which means that 12 divided by 50 would equal 4 transactions coming from there. Well, this agent wants to close 12, which means I need an additional 8 transactions, right? And the 8 transactions are going to come from people that I haven't met, right, in my database. So that means that I need to, for every transaction I want, I gotta feed 50 people into my system and market to them once a month, which then equals 8 times 50 equals 400 total, for a total contacts of 450 versus 600 of the brand new ones. So I've talked to you guys a lot about this in the sales meetings. You guys should really, really know exactly what your contact goal should be per day, per month, per year. And, there's some days we take off. It's not like Monday through Sunday. It's strategically saying, if I'm going to need 14 contacts this week, then I'm going to do 1 open house. And from there, I'm going to generate 10, which means I only need 4 more for the entire week. So maybe I'm going to do a call here. Maybe I'm going to call my sphere of influence, et cetera, et cetera. You should always know how many contacts you need to make per day in order to meet your goals, guys. That's what's going to keep you on track. And then use our KDNA system to track all of your activities. So if you have any questions, feel free to plug them in right here on the side about that calculation, and I will answer them in a few seconds. We're going to go ahead and get started with the actual how do you enter them into your VAC, your different your databases. That. Guys, I had to turn off all my screens when I had these technical difficulties, so I'm just going to open the VAC real quick, which will then give you all the opportunity to know how to get into the VAC. All right, here we go. So our campaigns, guys, clients, contact list. Really quick. This is the actual list of all of your contacts, and this is where you would enter an actual contact right here. So you add a contact, and it's pretty much just data entry. This is called Follow-Up Monday, right? Putting all my info in here, and more importantly, classifying them and assigning them to an email drip campaign, because we are staying in touch, guys. So what we're going to do today is something very simple. As your business grows, guys, so will the way you categorize your database. You know, at the beginning, you should have 3 categories very, very easily. It's sphere of influence, you should have buyers and sellers. Why do you want those 3 different categories? Because for each category, you can assign a specific campaign that is relevant to the information that that consumer is looking for. Remember, relevancy will give you higher conversion rates. And so with our system, because the campaign is already pre-built, which I'm going to show you right now, you have to decide how you are going to categorize your database. As your business grows, you're going to have a much wider variety of actual leads, right? The beginning is going to be buyers, sellers, and your sphere of influence. That's it. And as time progresses, you may have a campaign that will stay in touch with online leads. Perhaps you want to do a specific campaign for open house leads. Perhaps you want to do a specific campaign to your referral partners. Maybe you're an agent from another state and you have a great referral network in the other state you came from. Then that's another reason for you to actually, set up another campaign for them. Our system will allow you to create your own campaigns or use the current campaigns. So I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. So before you do anything in your system, you have to set up groups. Why? Because let me show you the quick campaign. So your clients are right here, but marketing, we're going to go into campaigns and click on campaigns. Now, open rates, like I've always told you guys, for text emails are about only 11%. Remember, you're staying top of mind in their inbox because 58% of people check their email first thing in the morning, and they check their phones 150 times per day minimum, and the number one thing they're looking at is their email, right? And so you're still staying top of mind and you're incubating that relationship. Now, these campaigns are stock campaigns. They're campaigns that are already preset for you. We have our monthly newsletter, which features a lot of different information. It's really relevant. It's not salesy at all. Last time I tried to open this, it would not open. It doesn't give you a preview for some reason. They're working on the preview, but I promise you they do work. I've read them before. And our Laurette, our teacher, our trainer for this, is going to be here tomorrow. So she's going to actually look at this with us. But each of these campaigns, this newsletter, is strategically set to go out the 4th of every month. So now you're staying in touch with them once a month to meet your goals as far as your contacts, right? Now, the other 2 categories that I told you you would be using would be your buyer campaigns, because it's easy, right? Now, with them, we're going to stay in touch with them even more consistent. We're going to stay in touch with them day 1, and then day 2, they're going to get an email. Then 3 days later, they're going to get an email, and then they're going to get an email from us every 5 days until day 75. But the email campaigns won't stop because we're going to always assign everyone to our newsletter campaign. Everybody in your database should be getting your newsletter at a minimum once a month. The other types of leads are going to get more consistent emails, because leads need to be incubated and need to be touched a lot more than perhaps your sphere of influence. If your sister doesn't want to buy a house, or your friend doesn't want to buy a house, but yet they have a good referral network, then you're probably not going to email them every week, right? You're not going to email them every other day. You're going to email them once a month to stay top of mind. But if it's a open house lead that walked in and wants to buy a house in the next 2 months, then you've really got to make that impression quickly. And you got to incubate that and make that connection through your email system. So this is a great campaign for buyers. Thanks for using my real estate resources, free advanced search tools, etc., etc. And then we have a sellers campaign that I also love to use. This one, again, for specific sellers. If you're doing an open house and a nosy neighbor walks in and wants to know what's happening around there, I would consider him a seller lead. So I would put them under my sellers. Even if they're not selling yet, they own a house that will eventually sell. So this is why it's easy to just categorize your campaigns into 3 different categories. Now, like I said, as your business grows, so will your campaigns. So then on here we have owners, we have relocation, we have welcome new client. Everybody should get this, because remember what I showed you guys on my stats over here, that people with an email, check this out. Subscribers that receive a welcome note show 33% more long-term brand engagement. That's insane. 33% more. That means they're getting this cool welcome email from you that is now telling them, hey, thank you so much for being part of my, thank you for, it was a pleasure knowing you, et cetera, et cetera. Now they're getting that as well. The welcome ones are 3 letters. They introduce them to the website. There's a general agent introduction for prospecting and then selecting a real estate agent, which is pretty cool. So they get a day 1, day 15, and day 21. So, but for our purposes, if you're starting brand new, you're just going to use 3 campaigns: the buyer, the seller campaign, and the sphere of influence. So in order to set up people on campaigns in your VAC, you have to start first with groups. Because when you create a group, then you can associate a group with a certain campaign. You'll never have to write these emails. They're already done for you. They're going to be sent automatically as your people hit your database, streamlining your business and therefore making the perception that you are staying in touch with them yourself, even though you have this machine working for you. So before we do that, we have to set up our groups. So we click on groups here. And you're going to set it up in 3 different categories: buyer, seller, and sphere of influence. Now, I've already done this because I've shown other people how to do it. But here's my groups. But it's very easy. You just scroll to the bottom, you create it, and you call it what you want: buyer, seller, sphere of influence. And you said create group. Now I already have my groups up here. That's why I'm not going to create another one. So here they are up here. Buyers. I did 2 buyers already. And I can edit them and delete them if I needed to. Like this one, it's actually double. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete this group. But what you're telling the system basically is, I'm going to create groups that basically I want to attach to an email marketing campaign. So we already have my group set up. So the way you're going to do it is you're going to go to the bottom again. You're going to write in here buyer. And then the buyers down here. And then you're going to hit create group. And then it creates it for you. So I have all my groups that I have over here. I have all contacts and web clients without marketing reports. These are all different campaigns: buyers, online leads, sellers, and sphere of influence. Actually, I did that twice. You see that? That's why it has a number 2. So I just want you guys to create 3 groups: buyer, seller, and sphere of influence. Once you're done creating your groups, then you go back to your campaigns. So you go marketing, campaigns, and then you hit my campaigns. And then you get to now start assigning people to these email campaigns. So number 1 is the monthly newsletter. If you've never turned this on, it's going to say off right here. So what you're going to have to do is go to settings right there. See that settings? Because yours is going to say off. So you got to turn it off. So click on settings. And then you're going to click on right here. It would have said this. So I'm going to hit on, and then I'm going to hit update. And now, because I'm going to use that monthly newsletter, I'm going to tell the system who I want the monthly newsletter to go out to when I enter them into my system. So I'm going to click recipients, and I'm going to check any group I've ever created or any pre-made groups that are already in the system. I want anybody in my database that I choose to get this newsletter. So I'm going to choose all of them, okay? Then you're going to hit update recipients and you hit close. Now you're going to go to your buyer campaign. And here's the buyer campaign. I already turned it on, but you guys are going to have to turn it on. You're going to have to hit settings. And it would have said off here like that, but I'm going to hit on and I'm going to hit update. And now I'm going to tell the system, who do I want my buyer campaign to go to? My buyer campaign, I'm going to hit recipients. And as you see, I have my groups here. Your groups are only going to say buyer, seller, and sphere of influence. I got online leads too, because there's an online lead campaign too. But I am telling the system that this campaign, I only want it to go to anybody who I identify in my groups as a buyer. Easy does it, right? Then I'm going to go to my seller campaign, which is, oh, I love the Fizzball one too. There's a Fizzball. But here's the seller campaign. I'm going to go to settings and turn it on. If it says on already on the site, then you guys already have it on for some reason. But if it says off, you have to do that, otherwise it's not working. You're going to hit on, and you're going to hit update. Okay? And actually, I think when you hit that, you can see the different campaigns. Let's look at that. Let's do seller campaigns. And here, see the campaign letters? Sell your home fast. These, because they're stock campaigns, you cannot modify them. You can do your own campaigns, which I'm going to show you right now. But because they're already preset, you cannot remove, you cannot change them. That's okay, because you don't want to reinvent the wheel, right? So after you have assigned your 3 groups through their campaigns, which is sphere of influence, buyers and sellers, right here, and again, whatever else you want to use, now I'm going to go back and actually show you how you now would start entering your contacts. So once you've done this, you'll never have to do it again unless you want to open up a new campaign. But we're just going to use buyer, seller, and sphere of influence campaign. So what does that mean now? So when I go into my contact list, it's Monday. I just did my open house. I have a follow-up Monday. I'm coming into client's contact list. And now I'm going to click add a contact. And I'm entering their information, Joe Smith, whatever that is, right? Data entry, as much information. For email campaigns to work, of course, they have to have an email, guys, so make sure you get that. If it is incorrect email, the system will tell you, so no worries about that. So you're going to enter as much information as possible, right? And then this is up to you how you want to categorize is the lead information. Active, incubating, under contract, or closed. Do develop your own terminology on these and do use this because you can run reports and then you can print reports on people who need to be calling immediately because they're active versus someone who's just needs some time. Also, this information is pretty good. What I would say is for you guys to really look at this, all the information that is asked of the system and create some kind of registration sheet that really correlates with this because it'll help you get as much information as possible. Now, because we've already set up our email distribution groups, that means that my buyer campaign, I associated it with that buyer campaign. And that means that whoever, if this was a lead that I was entering, Joe Smith, he came to my open house, he wants to buy in 2 months. If I click on this buyer campaign, that means that now the system is going to stay in touch with them through that buyer campaign that goes out the first day, and then it goes out the second day, and then it goes out 5 days after that. Anybody who I enter in my system, I'm going to put buyer and I'm going to do sphere of influence. Why? Because the sphere of influence is infinite because we associated the sphere of influence group to your monthly newsletter, which means they're going to get something from you every single month. So I want anybody in my database that hits there to get my newsletter. That's why I'm always going to click buyer and sphere of influence. Now let's say this was a seller. Nosy neighbor, or it's just someone looking to get a compare market analysis, call it what you will. You're going to enter the information, of course, and then you're going to choose, of course, the seller campaign because that is information that is relevant to the seller. The campaigns have text in there that a seller would want to read. And then, of course, I'm going to enter my sphere of influence as well. Why? Because now they're going to get my monthly newsletter. They're going to get the seller campaign, and then they're also going to get on the 4th my monthly newsletter. Now what you're doing is you're raising the number of touches you're doing with them because remember the ratios show 50-1, which means 50 people if you market to them once a month, 1 transaction. Well, what do you think is going to happen if you have 50 people that you market to 3, 4 times a month? That number is going to go up tremendously because now you're staying in their faces much more often. So hopefully that makes sense, guys. The very important thing to remember, to summarize, is first you've got to set up your groups, and then, which is right here, groups, and then you've got to associate, and your groups are categories in your database that you want to associate to email campaigns that are messages relevant to what the consumer is, buyer, seller, etc. After you set up your groups, then what you got to do is set up your campaign. With the group, what campaign do I want to associate with that person? And then you're done, because then after that, it's just your new habit is just entering all of your contacts. So feel free to go in here and rewind and kind of look at this over and over. That way you guys have a good idea as to how the system actually works. Now, one of the cool things about this also is that you can do custom campaigns. I've told you guys that text open rates is about 11%, but when you insert a video, it goes up to about 53%. So the system is really awesome, and we're going to be doing this at our class tomorrow. So feel free to join us at the Virtual Access Center class, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. and then 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. But I'm just going to show you really quick. You click at the bottom and you hit Create Custom Campaign. In here, let's say that I'm working on a FISBO campaign for FISBOs. I'm gonna call it the FISBO campaign. I'm just gonna call it FISBO. You can add it to a group right here, which means I would create a group first in here under groups called FISBO, because that way anybody who I mark as a FISBO in my database is gonna get this specific campaign. And then the system wants to know if you want fixed dates for the emails to go out or sign up. Sign up are the best, because that means that they're gonna start getting those drip emails that you're gonna create based on what the day they sign up. So not necessarily on a calendar day. So you wanna do sign up, and then you're gonna hit continue. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna, let's see, please check that the below information is correct, and then you're gonna click continue. And then you're gonna get up into the actual creation of the campaign. So you can use preset letters, because it's got 157 total letters. So under buying, you can preview them and see what the message actually says. Hopefully, yeah, they do previews. This is the way it's supposed to look. You can look in here and look for letters that would be specific to a FISBO, or you can create your own custom letters. So either you select what's in the system, which is going to be in here, right? And remember, the pages, there's like tons of pages of different messaging and different things that you're going to do. Or if you wanted to do your own letters, then what you would have to do is first start under clients, let's see, groups, letter library right here. So before you start on this creating a custom campaign, you have to create a new letter. So create a new letter. And you have to create your letters here first and then select them into your campaign. So if it was a FISBO campaign, I have a for sale by owner survival kit. I would probably either do a video that I could embed in here talking about how to survive a for sale by owner. And maybe that kit, I would dissect it into 27 different, or it's like 16 pages. So maybe I would dissect it into 10 videos that are gonna strategically stay in touch with my FISBOs. And then I would embed it in here. Open rates are gonna go up, right? Or I would just copy and paste the information from my FISBO kit. So I would put it in here, and then I would save my letters. So you would hit add letters. So again, you can do visuals, you can add graphics and all of that. Once you save a letter here, then when you start doing your own campaigns, I think you can get through here. So marketing, campaigns, my campaigns, go to my campaigns. And then you hit create custom campaign at the bottom. And because you had already created your letter over here, your letter library, then it would show up under here. So then you can start choosing from those as well. So either you choose for 157 letters, or you actually can build your own. So this is going to be really important, guys. As your business grows, the more specific and the more valuable your information is, the better your conversion rates, right? Databases and email marketing is the cheapest return on investment. It doesn't cost you anything, and you can easily set it up in seconds, guys. It just really starts by setting up your groups and assigning your groups to the email campaign that you want them to be distributed to. And then the third part is just your habit, guys. It's about you entering all of your contacts in here and having them associated with an actual campaign. So I'm going to open it up to questions really quick, and then let's see. Do you guys have any questions at all right now? And thank you guys for your patience also on this, with this technology. So interesting. So any questions at all? Are videos from YouTube or from your own files? You want to use your own files because you want to personalize them. You can use YouTube videos if you like, but then, you know, I don't know if it would be valuable to showcase like someone else. You know what I mean? If you're going to do personal campaigns, you want to use yourself, or you want to use, you know, you can go to Fiverr.com and get someone to create a campaign for you on cartoon videos even. Like those are really fun where they're actually drawing out stuff like that. But you want to try to use your own content. Or you can use videos that are Berkshire related. That would be clever. Like maybe you can go into our new social media content side thing, that Engage 121 or whatever it's called, I keep forgetting. And then pull information from there and just embed it into your email. Because it's not going to drive them to another website. You're going to put in your email campaigns, your custom ones, you can put a call to action at the bottom that says, go to my site, to find out more or whatever. But I would say content, as far as videos, we want to try to use your own. Unless it's Berkshire related, and then you can embed it in there. So if you can find a ton of great videos of the Berkshire brand, that's easy. You can start getting in there and start embedding them and moving forward with them. Does that answer your question, Joe? Good question, though. Oh, if your own videos are on YouTube, yes. It's so easy to embed them into your email here, because YouTube, when you have YouTube, I'll show you. Let's just look at any video here. Let's look at a cool video. Let's look at mine. How's that? So let's say I'm going to do this. Then when I hit the share button down here, it gives you two things, the link or the embedded code. This is the code that you just have to copy and paste, and now we can embed it into your custom campaigns here. So it's really easy to do. So yeah, I would say first post them on YouTube, and then from there and get the embed code and put them in your specific campaign. So yes. Cool. Did that answer your question, Joe? I hope that answered your question. Do we have any more questions, guys? Any more questions? Cool, Joe. And of course, guys, like I said, tomorrow, join me here at the Northwest office, 9 a.m. to 12, and then 1 to 4. I'm going to be asking her really advanced stuff too. So whatever we don't get answered, we can sit down. We're going to do a work group. We didn't do that class on tools and updates, but I'm going to do a live class for you guys next month in February. So look out for that, so we can get really good at these campaigns. You should already start setting goals as to what you can do as far as your campaigns right now, and what it's going to look, what your database is going to look like, 5 months down the road, 6 months, 8 months. If you don't have a database in real estate or any business, you don't have a business, guys. So it's very, very important. No problem, Jill. Thank you guys so much for joining, and I appreciate you guys greatly. I'm going to repost this webinar on our Facebook group page so you guys can watch it over and over again and follow the steps. And of course, join me tomorrow here on our Northwest office so we can actually take the classes. Thank you guys for joining. I'm going to run because I have another appointment to get to, believe it or not, guys. Real estate is fun, isn't it? So thank you guys for joining so much. I will be in touch with all of you soon. Have a great evening. Bye, everyone.